All right, that's better. So on the starting lineup here for St. Clair, we've got Walla, Jub, Kingdom Heart, the Mage, Crypt, and Jussie. On the side of University of Austin, Texas, we got this and that. Shanio, Chief, I Can Spell, and Bean. As we get started here on Ilios, we're going to get right into the action. Of course, this one is the King of the Hill, or the control points map style, so we're going to just jump right into things with Kingdom Heart point blank in here with everybody. And so far, 2 members currently going down here for St. Clair, and his first pick is going to likely go over into the hands of the University of Austin, Texas. Demage, the final one alive, and he is going to be brought down. My apologies for the beginning there, as we did have a bit of a spectator bug kind of slow things down a little bit, but we're back in the action now, so should be all good and ready to go, as that first fight went pretty handily towards the University of Austin, Texas. And a relatively aggressive defensive position they have taken here, getting away from the control point to try and pressure the Saints before they even get anywhere near the point. Jub trying to be a little bit of a menace, but didn't really take much off of anybody when he dove in there. So far so good for University of Austin, Texas, as they take down Kingdom Heart and Crypt. This is going to force the retreat here for St. Clair. Regroup and try to get something done, as Walla also goes down this and that with the snipe. Jub point blank with the Austin, Texas squad, and he's not going to be able to find anything. So I Can Spell going to essentially stagger the St. Clair squad at the moment, as we get 50% into this first game, or first round of the first game rather. Jub getting sniped right away by this and that. Nice shot from this and that, and his Hanzo doing fantastic work so far to start this thing off. Nice stun, and Walla gonna get the ping up onto Bean, getting the headshot after the stun. We've got 2 ultimates coming out here for the side of the University of Austin, Texas, and again, this and that taking down Jub again instantly. And then Shinio able to take down Jussie in the back line. This and that essentially in the back line by himself, just picking away at the St. Clair squad. Gotta see if they can find a way to deal with that. And the Deadeye goes right into the shield, but at least he reloads, I suppose. And another shot. This and that, just finding his marks here today. A fantastic start for him, as St. Clair falls. And this first round is going to go over to the University of Austin, Texas in pretty convincing fashion. I do hope everybody is having a fantastic evening here. This is Danner's Banner, going to be bringing you the action for tonight's TESPA Overwatch doubleheader. We've got 2 matches, so we should have an exciting evening. If you had joined us earlier, had a pretty busy Sunday for Saints Gaming matches. Of course, the Fortnite squad did pretty well, I would say so myself, this evening, picking up 2 Ws today. Now let's hope that the momentum continues here, but this time for the Overwatch squad. Can see if they can turn this one around. And we actually have a Hanzo coming out for Walla now, after seeing this and that just kind of open the Saints up pretty handily. And there we go, that's exactly what we needed to see. Walla up the headshot onto this and that, giving a bit of a taste of his own medicine. Gonna allow Saints to get a pretty good position, but we actually got a double sniper comp. We got Shinio on the Widowmaker, and it's going to be something that Saints have to be very careful of. Of course, Jub gonna be the first to eat that one. 1 member down for each, and we're gonna probably have this and that returning shortly in this battle. There he is in the background, I think. And Demage gonna be able to take out the other Orisa. And so far, 2 down. We have a lot of low health bars here for St. Clair. Shinio going to take out Jub, winning the Widowmaker duel. But then Crypt's going to finish the job. At least answer that back. We have an odd little situation here where Moira's pretty deep. And she's probably going to be able to fade her way out of there. Walla wasn't able to clean it up, but at least threatened the Moira in the sense that she was out of position. Jub finding this and that, getting the headshot. Nice little pick there and wins the Widow duel, getting the headshot onto Shinio. Looks for another one, but no dice this time. Now, as much as Jussie does not like this character, he's doing exactly what he needs to do, keeping everybody alive, and Walla and Jub Jub just slaying in the background. A much better looking game here so far for St. Clair compared to the first round. Nice shot, Jub Jub. Can we get another one? Not quite. St. Clair almost getting a little over-aggressive with their defense, but they are going to bring it back to the control point. 60% on the board currently for them this very moment. And we have 4 ultimates online, and we're going to have Crypt with the Flux to start things off. And there's going to be the Dragon Strike, but also the Sound Barrier. Sound Barrier coming out from University of Austin, Texas. Going to keep everybody alive. That Flux not really doing much, getting canceled out. Jub Jub finding Shinio, but Bean also actually taking down Jub Jub in the meantime. Sound Barrier for the Saints. Can they finish off this dang Sigma? He's sitting there with like a pixel of health, but they're going to take down Chief first. At least Kingdom Heart going to be able to get that. But this and that switching over to the Widowmaker. Got to take down Crypt. We have Dimash answering one, but now it's starting to look like it's going into the favor of Austin, Texas, as Derisa Iriditso, forgive me if I butchered that pronunciation, but he's going to pick up a double kill for himself to give University of Austin, Texas the flip and start earning some points here, as St. Clair is now on 99%. Just need to win one more team fight. They blew through all their resources in that final, or that last fight there. So they won't have anything just yet, but when they give you gifts like that, you might as well capitalize on it and say thank you. With Bean going down nice and quick, but Shinio actually pops out Walla, who was trying to snipe from the top. So we are currently 5-5. We're looking like we're going to possibly get another pause here. And it does get reverted, so never mind. We're going to fight this one out. Jussie going to fade his way out of there. Crypt getting low. Jussie right there to keep him topped off. Walla is back in the fight after getting picked off earlier. And see if he can get himself a pick. It's actually going to be Iriditsa who gets the pick onto Damage. And we have 2 going down for St. Clair currently. The rest of the squad going to try and run away. Jub Jub missing the first mark. Looking for another opportunity, but isn't going to find it. Bean going to take down Kingdom Heart. That's 3 down currently for St. Clair. And they should be looking to retreat at this point. And actually, it's going to be University of Austin, Texas, who are going to retreat back to the control point. 70% currently on the board for them. One more bad team fight could mean curtains for this first round for St. Clair. They had a fantastic start of the second round, but Austin, Texas looking fantastic so far. Jub Jub is going to find the Widowmaker. This and that going down. The Coalescence is going to get the kill there for Chief, but then Walla and Jub Jub both get a kill, and this is going to possibly turn this over. But Chief and I Can Spell going to spin it around, and in fact, they get another one. And this fight is dragging so long, it's going to be up to Kingdom Heart to try and stall this alongside Jub Jub, but nobody is there to touch it. They do barely touch it. But the emergency Hammond's coming out from Iriditsa is going to take the kill. Jub Jub is going to go down. We do have the Flux actually coming out from Crypt, and we have the emergency Hammond now for Damage. He's sitting there with 50 health, but he is going to eventually go down. Walla is somewhat close nearby. We have one on the point as well. Crypt's going to go down, and that is going to be round 1, game 1, or round 2, game 1. That's not confusing at all. Going over to the University of Austin, Texas. Strong start for them. They are very dominant, especially in that first round. But round 2, a little bit more back and forth. But even though Saints were at 99%, they're able to clean that up rather quickly afterwards, after they got the flip. And a nice little play there from University of Austin, Texas. So very shortly, we will be getting into game number 2. It does appear that the Saints do need a second to have, I think it's a Walla needs to switch PCs. So we'll probably have ourselves about a 5-minute break before we get into game number 2. just to allow him to get that switch off. Gotcha. Yeah, so a bit of a rough one for the Saints to start things off. Like I was saying before, round one completely in the favor of University of Austin, Texas. However, round two, much more promising, but just unfortunately was not able to clean it up. That final fight where they did lose it, they had used pretty well every ultimate on deck, which made it extremely difficult for them to get back from. Yeah, so we're going to have ourselves a very, very quick break before getting into game number 2. As we figure out the technical difficulties on the player's side. But it shouldn't be very much longer. Stick around. We'll be right back for game 2.
Now entering King's Row.
All right, game number 2. We're going in hot on this one as we have St. Clair on defense for King's Row. The spectator bugs are starting to get a little bit annoying, unfortunately, but we shall deal with them as they are handed out, I suppose. This time we have Walla onto the Bastion. Of course, we know St. Clair absolutely love this map for the most part. Seem to be relatively consistent on it. And we actually have an Ashe on the side of University of Austin, Texas. And they send out Bob pretty quickly, and oh my god, we just got deleted. So between Bean and this and that, once again, just doing a fantastic job of exploding the front line of the Saints and getting the kills where they need to be, getting the priority kills, I suppose. Although, however, Bean getting a little bit out of position, Walla going to be able to burn him down extremely quick. But the first point is lost, and St. Clair is going to be able to at least push up a tiny bit as this cart starts to begin to come out. Flux coming out from the side of University of Austin, Texas, but the May wall coming out from St. Clair is going to deny any sort of offense to follow up. Do have the Pharah up in the sky. He's trying to be a nuisance. We do have Walla, however, trying to dive in with the tank form, but it is going to get blown up by Bean, but rezzed pretty quickly by Kingdom Heart. Can he deal with Bean, who's flying high up in the sky currently? Walla is actually going to go down a little bit ahead of everybody, away from his shielding partners. Bob going to come over and just smoke himself in the face, but there's the barrage coming out from Bean, finally charging that thing up rather quickly, actually. And Saints are going to finally deal with it. Jub going to be able to take Bean out of the sky, but not before Jussie falls. So pretty back and forth battle here on this cart, constantly being contested. The Blizzard coming out without many of the Saints being nearby. Jub just kind of feeling confident that he can handle it at 2v5. A little questionable, especially now that Chief just beats him down. A little bit of a overzealous maneuver there for Jub. Going to cost them the ultimate, at least. The Flux is going to get 2, so Crypt picks up 2, but there's the sound barrier coming out. Here, it's so going to take down the Crypt pretty quickly. And this and that and the rest of the squad from the University of Austin, Texas, showing up and showing up big right now as they push this thing almost right to the second point. And as Saints go to try and contest that, this and that is right there on that Ashe, just to be a nuisance. And I can spell just finding Walla getting extremely over-aggressive. Jub, however, going to find himself a kill back. Does take down this and that, but a little bit rough right now for St. Clair as they have made it to the final part of this map. Bean did switch off the Pharah for the Hanzo. However, the Jub's the one doing the sniping in this case on the May, taking him down pretty quickly. Flux coming out from the University of Austin, Texas as they try to push this cart. This and that is going to get the kill onto Walla. Damage passing one right back though, and St. Clair going to be able to follow up between all the members of St. Clair, doing a ton of damage. And they're going to send their reset right back to spawn. And we do have the Reaper now coming out for University of Austin, Texas. That is going to be Bean making another switch. Possibly upon getting this point, they did make this switch a little bit more of a close quarters battle, especially around this S. Crypt's getting hella low at this point, but he is going to be saved by the support line of St. Clair. Coalescence coming out, Kamehameha right down the center of the team, or at least right around the Arisa anyway. Bob gonna come out, but Jesse's gonna get out of there just in time. But I could spell taking out the mage. Walla gonna take down this and that though with the Deadeye though, so good usage of that ultimate. However, it does get resurrected, and the rest of the University of Austin, Texas are coming in hot, doing a ton of damage to St. Clair. And that cart has passed the final turn. This is the final stretch here for the University of Austin, Texas to get themselves the three-pointer here in this second game. Someone from St. Clair needs to contest that thing. They're just walking this thing in, but there is someone finally there to contest. Walla trying to find an open man, but nobody is there. Just the perfect positioning for this, the University of Austin, Texas. None of their valuable players there to get picked off by a snipe. And actually, Shineo on the Ana going to get the final kill to allow them to push this for the full three-pointer.
0-3, switching sides.
Now I know Austin and I often say that this map goes one of two ways, either full holds or a full three-pointer for the most part, and it looks like it's going to be another one of those days. I know we see this map quite a lot, and that seems to be the results we're getting. Now we got to see what happens for St. Clair. We know the strats they like to go for on this map. We're probably going to see the standard Symmetra play with the Bastion. Although I look over at Walla trying to see who they're selecting at this moment, and it's looking a little bit different. They're hovering a couple characters. Because right now Jub is currently on the Sombra. We've seen him try this once before, or maybe twice before this season, and I don't recall it ever working. However, they do a ton of scrimming, and they do a bunch of practice, and they did have the CSL tournament yesterday. So these guys are warmed up. They're definitely well practiced. It's just, what are they running?
Hello.
And sure enough, the Sombra does get switched off. We are going to get the Symmetra. So tried and true play going to be coming out here for St. Clair as they're going to try and teleport to that high ground. How does the University of Austin, Texas try to defend this? He defends rather aggressively, essentially right up front at this choke point. We're just going to stall St. Clair a little bit, but they do eventually get the teleport, and it's going to leave most of Austin, Texas pretty exposed until they finally fall back into the corner. And it's going to be I Can Spell the first to fall. Walla jumps down, going to try and find the proper angle on these guys in the corner. If he can get that, it's going to be essentially curtains, unless they could somehow burst down the Bastion. And they are definitely trying. That is a Hanzo up there from Bean, who's going to be just putting on the hurt. In fact, he does take down Walla. We have a pause happening again. Walla does get disconnected, it looks like. So we're currently down a player for this attack. And they're just waiting on the pause. This fight's going to be finished off, and the pause is going to come out. Unfortunately, just issue after issue coming out here for St. Clair, but it looks like a quick fix. He is back in the game, so we're probably gonna have to reset our attack. The game's gonna keep on going where we're at. So okay, big shout out to University of Austin, Texas for the cooperation during these spectator glitches, as well as the accidental disconnect there. A little bit of a rough end here for the for the Saints in terms of tech, but we'll see what we can do anyway. This fight did get essentially lost. We do have the reset currently happening. Jussie goes down, but we trade it for Bob, essentially, in this one. And Damage goes down before the teleporter even gets the chance to come out. So Saints are going to have to delay this a little bit longer because their big beefy front line is pretty much gone here. They just have the Sigma currently. And of course, in this double shield meta, you kind of need both your tanks. Now we have 2 ultimates on deck, just the supportive ones, and we're gonna start opening fire. But actually the Sigma tried to make the read, actually. I did like that, with the Flux on the point that they teleport to, with the Hanzo of the Dragon Strike right on top of it. But thankfully, I think that was Jussie with the invulnerability fields, keeping everybody alive. Before Walla got slept there, he did get the kill onto the Orisa. So 1 player down currently for Austin, Texas, but they do manage to trade it back. But Crypt, then on point, currently capturing, does find Beam. So the big sniper currently for the side of Austin, Texas is down, and this is a long point to try and run back to. Ash is just about to drop. This point is still getting contested, barely on top of it. Kingdom Heart trying to keep everybody alive, but that's a solid invulnerability field from Jussie to at least stall this a little bit longer. Crypt gets a kill, Damage getting a kill, Jussie getting a kill, and this one's all going for St. Clair. Took a little bit, but we get the point, and now it's time to escort this card. So now that we have completed this initial point, we'll probably see the Symmetra switch off sometime shortly, but Jump Jump does have the ultimate currently, so they'll probably try and do 1 fight with it and then make a switch. And then with Walla having tank form and Jussie about to have his square of boosting of sorts, whatever you want to call that thing, his ultimate, it could be devastating pretty quickly. Bob going to come out from this and that, but Saints are going to melt through it alongside I Can Spell. So a solid start here for St. Clair as the rest of the tank line and Jub Jub continue to push forward, pushing these guys essentially right back to the second point. That Dynamite just doing a ton of damage though. Thankfully for Damage, Kingdom Hearts right there topping them off, keeping everybody healthy. Like a solid, good support. Popping the Valkyrie when things get rough, especially now that Bean is in the back line. And we're going to get a pretty sick view, actually, from this fight, from the bird's eye view from Kingdom Heart, as he's just keeping everybody alive alongside Jussie's invulnerability field. Huge play offensively and for the supports. You don't get them too much credit throughout the games, but between Jussie's invulnerability fields and Kingdom Heart's work with the Valkyrie and keeping the right targets alive, all of the Saints are going to be able to pull through that second point easy, and a huge combo actually there from Damage and Crypt, able to pop that guy. This and that getting taken down before even getting really a shot off. A Walla point blank with a Maywall, not going to be the most optimal of positions. Kingdom Heart making the switch over to Ana. Some of the longer sight lines once you pass this corridor could be definitely valuable. And Jump Jump proving me wrong, keeping this Symmetra for another round, and it's about to get the second ultimate. Bob gonna charge on in. Where is he? There he is, in the kind of in the front. Jussie gonna pop in vulnerability fields, gonna keep everybody alive, but it does eventually go down, and he is going to go down as well. The skirmish is still going down. We have people falling through the floor and whatnot. And eventually, University of Austin, Texas is going to be able to plow through this as Saints get about about halfway through this next point, about midway through that S curve. And oh god, I just got smoked by a boulder. But we live in. We've got supports. Now Walla getting smoked, and actually the Dynamite from this and that going to finish things off. And they already committed the ultimate from Jussie, so they're going to try and plow through and see if they can get a pick with this, and then more than likely retreat if they don't. But I do hear another ultimate coming out. That's going to be the Bongo coming out from the side of University of Austin, Texas. The Orisa going to push the rest of St. Clair away, and slowly but surely the clock is ticking down as we're about 2:15 left on the clock. Some of the Saints have to back up though. It's a little bit an odd spot. Jub's going to hide in the corner. I don't think they've spotted them there. But thankfully, the rest of St. Clair do retreat back to their zone. And a teleporter play, actually. This and that, having absolutely none of it. Sniping down Jussie with a solid headshot before everything even really gets started. But a nice biotic nade there for Kingdom Heart, going to take down Beam. But we do have Bob charging in for this side of the University of Austin, Texas. We have a nano-boosted Crypt, though. The Sigmas are charged up and ready to fight in this front line. Of course, it does negate a little bit of damage, gives you a little bit of extra defense. But when all of them are focusing you, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't if you have solid, or it does matter if you have the solid support line there for backup, which of course, Jussie and Kingdom Heart making it work. Crypt leading the charge, pushing these guys so far back. Boulder smoking one of them, and actually Chief gonna get sniped down by Walla. So a huge healing force for the University of Austin, Texas is out of this play for at least a little bit longer as we're down to the final minute in this push. Crypt a little bit far ahead. He's gonna get focused down by a lot of the members of the squad. But we do have a blizzard coming out. I believe that was from Texas State trade. Walla does go down, but it's going to be this and that going down. But Chief is back. Does come back right in time to bring this and that back into the fight, and he currently has the high ground. So this is a really rough spot to be in, especially if you're the support line of St. Clair, as this and that just keeps popping off on everybody in the back line. 30 seconds currently. We have one more push here for St. Clair, and let's hope they do it together and don't trickle, because this is going to be make or break for them here. We have the Dragon Strike, we have Nano Boost, and we're about to have a shield here from the Symmetra. Let's see if they can make it work. And that's actually going to be him going point blank. I don't think he even got the Dragon off. So unfortunately, the ult's going to waste, and the rest of this fight is just not going in St. Clair's favor. This is going to be the 2-0 going into the favor of University of Austin, Texas. Much better second game, very competitive. But for this one today, for our first match, University of Austin, Texas is going to be the better team in this game. Good games, well played. And this and that, going to get himself the play of the game for game number 2. Let's take a look. Just absolutely melting everybody in this one. Disgusting. And with that, that is going to be our first match of the day. We will have a second one happening very shortly here. Yeah, so like I was saying, it was a much more competitive second game there from St. Clair. Brought it close, almost got the three-pointer back, but after the play just not exactly going in their favor, unfortunately, the Dragon Strike either got eaten or it got shot into the floor when trying to dodge. Did not find its mark, but I think the rest of the Saints got melted anyway before that Dragon Strike even got the chance to come out. And just that res that Chief got onto this and that Ash, where it was up on the high ground, just did so well at taking out that final push. So that will be the end of the first match. We're going to have a very brief break, and then we get to actually get another game as we're going to be playing up against San Diego State University in another best of 3 match for the TESPA Overwatch preseason. Again, my name is Dan, Danner's Banner. Thank you for joining us for this first match, and we shall be back within a couple minutes for the next one. Stay tuned.
haze from the heat wave stole my emotions. I left my doubts when I was swept by the ocean, and every pulse from the tide was a finish line. A wave race we were made to ride. You and I were first in line, and we took them by surprise. I was with you all the time. You may not realize, but I'm here. I hear you loud and clear. When we get lost in our own minds, you'll be keeping me near. From among those crowds, let the feeling of realization in that I'm here. I hear you loud and clear. When we get lost in our own minds, you'll be keeping me near.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to some more TESPA Overwatch. So we're about to get started with our next match between San Diego State University and St. Clair College. I think I need to make an adjustment here. That looks a little funny to me. Sorry about that. That's better. All right, so let's see. We're starting off on Alios for game number 1. We saw this one be a little bit of a rough spot here for St. Clair in the first match of the night. But let's see if they can turn this one around on San Diego State. We got a bit of a different team composition going into this first game, and San Diego just basically blitzed the point. They get right on there, but Dylan going to be the first to go down because Crypt just pops them. Nicely done. They actually have a Reinhardt here. We got White Lotus trying to lead the charge. Moira getting smoked by the boulder, but is going to be able to fade out of there before the stun takes too much effect. Walla on the Reaper, point blank with the tank line, but Tragic able to take down Kingdom Heart with the boop. Don't know if he knocked him off the stage or what, but took him down. But between Walla and Crypt, they are taking the kills necessary until Walla finally goes down. Strelizia gonna get himself the kill. Dylan jumping in just to essentially get popped right away. And Crypt and Jub are gonna be the ones to take this first point for St. Clair. For St. Clair, of course, we have the starting lineup: Kingdom Heart, Crypt, Walla, Jub, Damage, and Jussie. Same one as last time, as our last match. But for San Diego State, we have Dylan, Strelizia, Tragic, Chris. And Dylan, speaking of him, takes down Kingdom Heart. I'll continue that in a second as the Coalescence and the rest of the San Diego squad are charging in with ultimates. That's going to be a solid Flux, actually. And the other Sigma on the other side going to try and match it. And it's going to be looking like a flip here right now for San Diego State as they're able to clean up this fight. With everybody brawling inside the control point, Kingdom Heart going to be the final one to go down.
Perhaps a new methodology is required.
And then the other two for San Diego State that I did not mention was Jamari and White Lotus. Ultimates currently for St. Clair. We have two offensive ones between the Death Blossom and the Blizzard. With the control point being so crammed, this is about these are the ults you kind of want. Dylan jumping in point blank into Walla, gonna get out alive. Blizzard coming out right now for St. Clair. It doesn't cover up as much of the point as they wish, though, so it's not gonna be as effective as they wanted. Big Shatter taking down the front line of St. Clair. Wraithwalk is gonna be necessary to get out of this one alive, but it does not matter. White Lotus and Chris with the chase to take down the rest of St. Clair. So the Blizzard was used, but it looked like it smoked the wall or something. It didn't actually cover the entire control point for St. Clair, which is a little unfortunate for that. However, they did save the Death Blossom, and now Damage does have the Bongo for damage boosting available. Walla going to try and jump in through the roof, but I don't think he got the angle he wanted. But he is going to be able to get some sort of consolation prize, taking down Dylan right before the fight even really begins. Coalescences and Bongos being dropped alongside a Death Blossom, and now that the shield's broken, this is Walla's chance to get a ton of damage in, and that, in fact, he does. St. Clair are going to be able to plow through and flip this thing back over as soon as they finish off Dylan, which Kingdom Heart does swiftly. 80% currently on the board right now for San Diego State. And St. Clair looking to catch up, just breaking that 50% mark. It's not really in that danger zone right now where one team fight meets all, but it is slowly but surely getting close to it. And Dylan jumps in. He's going to Meteor Strike to probably get out of there. He was pretty low on health. And White Lotus finds Jub a little out of position. He's going to smoke him down. And then Dylan going to find himself the kill onto Kingdom Heart. Let's see if Jussie, the only healer alive currently for St. Clair, trying his best to keep everybody alive, but there's no way that he can get on there without getting blasted. He's going to try and keep Crypt up as best he can. Walla takes down one, but that is going to be it. San Diego going to be able to make the flip. Pretty close to a tie game but until that point. But now 83% and counting right now for San Diego. And the only ult on board is the Blizzard, and we're likely going to see Coalescence before this one ends. 90% now. We need to see a move, and we need to see it soon, but watch out for the possibility of a booping Lucio. Jub Jub was ready for it. That is going to be a Death Blossom from the side of San Diego, and the Reinhardt ultimate coming down to zone out the rest of St. Clair, and that is going to be devastating for the plans of St. Clair. And this first round of game number 1 is going to go over to San Diego State.
Routing navigation systems to defense. Score 0-1.
Sadly for St. Clair, Ilios is not exactly looking like a favorite map of theirs at this point, but which one did we get? It's about the same lineup as last time. So we saw them versus Austin, University of Austin, Texas. They did much better on this specific portion of Ilios. Unfortunately, they did still lose it. This is where we saw the double sniper play happen. And as of right now, we do have a single sniper with Jub Jub on Widowmaker, but they are actually going to make the switch over, try and keep the same team comp, unless I'm a liar and he makes a last-second switch. And sure enough, we are going to see Jub Jub's Widowmaker make an appearance here again on the second point of Ilios. Let's see if he can make himself a pick here as the rest of St. Clair moves forward towards the point. He finds a shot, chunks him, but doesn't quite get the kill. Looking for another, and he does find Strelitzia. Has a huge pick, one healer down. Let's get into the heat of things here as we're point blank in the front line with Crypt. Right in the front line with the Reaper, which is definitely scary. It looks like Crypt's the only one on point, exception of the Reaper, exception of Walla. But now the rest of St. Clair is here to follow, and now that everybody's on board, this one's going quickly over to St. Clair's favor, only losing Crypt from Dylan's punch. And St. Clair are going to get themselves the first pickup here for round number 2. Jub Jub looking for a pick, gets some damage, but doesn't quite find the kill. He's going to try and get out of dodge, and sure enough, he's going to be able to. Retreating a little bit and spots the rest of the guys off on the left-hand side from San Diego. Looks for the pick. Doomfist jumping in. We do have the Coalescence actually doing a ton of damage going through everybody of San Diego State, but nobody's really there to follow up. Jussie is doing all the damage in this case as they're pinched in that corridor. Crypt's going to finally pick up a kill, though, onto Dylan. But what else is going on here is we got shields flying everywhere, and you're point blank with the Reaper. There is a Death Blossom if they want to pull this out pretty quickly. He is going to try it. Alongside the sound barrier, he's going to pick himself up 3, and Jussie going to find another. And Walla going to take down Jamari. He got the ultimate at the perfect time. But we got to watch out for our backdoor cap as somebody tried to get a little cheeky. I think that was Dylan on the Doomfist. Trying to see if he could sneak himself a capture or two. Now Jub Jub trying to find him here. Let's see if we can get a look. A little bit in the bit of an infiltrator here as he's trying to get the pick on somebody from behind enemy lines. He does find the Doomfist. He's going to barely even tickle him though, and he's going to get damaged pretty heftily. We do have a Flux coming out. Was that ours? It is not. Crypt still has his right here. So Coalescence coming up. Jussie getting that thing real quick. And that's a nice boulder from Crypt, shutting down that Doomfist instantly. And this Flux should be all they need to take care of this point and possibly get themselves on the board here, as long as they can deal with Jamari, who's in the support line. And a nice job from Crypt absorbing that entire thing, making that Death Blossom essentially useless. And it looks like St. Clair is going to be able to take care of this one, as long as they can deal with Dylan, who's just doing a fantastic job of stalling the hell out of this. There is actually reinforcements here. Strelitzia on the Morio are going to try and stall even further. The Crypt is going to shut that down. The Wraith walking Jamari on that Reaper, trying to get in here. Emergency Hammond, it's stagger time, and it's about desperation time. As the rest of the squad jumps in, it is too late. St. Clair going to bring this to round number 3 for the first game in this second match. This is the first time we're seeing the well for Ilias here. We're going to probably see a different type of team comp because that well is almost too good to pass up on. Being able to boop somebody in there or drag them in there and getting a free kill for doing essentially no damage is just too good to pass up, and we sure enough are going to see Pharmacy here for St. Clair to try and do just that. Farah's got a lot of good sight lines and a lot of good buildings to cover if need be. So let's see what they can do. Actually, a nice little boop there, keeping everybody away from the shield, but not enough to get them into the well. And Jamari going to be the first one to pick up a kill as Walla going down, as well as Crypt. Jub's pounding away on these guys from above, but the rest of the squad from San Diego just blitzed the rest of St. Clair. So you poke all you want. Poke is nothing if we just solid engage on you, and that's exactly what they did. Okay, there we go. Jub going to be able to get himself a kill with the damage boost from Kingdom Heart. See if they can turn that into some offense here, as we're about 90% of the way to a barrage. But with the Roadhog there, that's kind of scary if you stand still. And sure enough, Tragic's going to catch St. Clair off guard, and they're going to get two. Barrage is right on top of so many of them. 2 kills for sure. And that's going to turn this fight into at least even at this point, I believe. It's a matter of just taking down Dylan, and he's going to be extremely elusive. But right now, Kingdom Heart and Jub feel like they're the only ones on points. Am I correct on this? It does look like it. So they're basically just going to go down, ultimate blown, and the rest of the team were still at base. So a little bit of a miscommunication, I feel, here for St. Clair. I don't know if it's a pattern I'm seeing here, but unfortunately, it just feels like Jub is getting a little bit over-aggressive compared to the rest of St. Clair. And okay, that was a nice little boop there. White Lotus going to go down from a concussion shot, or whatever you want to call it, from Jub. And Jesse's going to find himself another. As we ride with him here, as he tries to duo this Reaper. And with Crypt's help, he's going to be able to do this. This thing's still contested, though. Tragic just being an absolute pain. And he's going to get... Chris going to get Crypt sucked down into the well. But finally, St. Clair going to be able to flip this thing. But 89% currently on the board for San Diego. You can't really mess up one more team fight, otherwise it's probably going to be curtains here. We got a barrage on deck, and that is about it right now for St. Clair to try and defend this. What do San Diego have currently? And can they take down this tank before anything really even happens? Wanted to try and chase him down, but it's going to opt against it. Okay, he's just going to point blank him right there in the corridor. Nicely done until Dylan comes down and just slams the fist down and shuts him up real quick. Kingdom Heart barely getting out with his life. Doomfist chasing him down. Jussie the only one there to try and help him out. Coalescence is available, but he's in a really rough spot to try and use it. He's going to try and keep Damage alive, but he was behind the building, was not in line of sight. So this Coalescence is going to burn with no prevail. We are contested here on the point, but everybody's basically going down. It's just a bunch of emergency characters coming out right now for St. Clair. And with the clock ticking and nobody able to contest, this is looking very promising for this side of San Diego. And this one's going to be emergency Hammond and instantly pop down once he gets smoked by the Roadhog. And this is going to be game number 1 going over to San Diego State University. Another hard-fought match here between both sides, but game 1 going to go over to San Diego with White Lotus's Reinhardt actually getting the play of the game. Let's see it. Fantastic play there for White Lotus. Of course, that shatter catching so many players and walling off the team from the players who had already dived onto the point. So far, so good for San Diego. Saints need to find a way to turn this around As we're probably going to King's Row more than likely. Unless they decide to switch it up. I don't think St. Clair is going to be taking a break after that one. So unless San Diego wants to, I think we're going to go into this pretty much right away. I'll admit that was much better than the Ilios match that we've seen on the first one anyway. And it looks like we're going to have a side switch here. As per request of San Diego, they're going to try and defend here first on Eichenwald is actually going to be the map pick. If this stands, and they're going into it, so it looks like it.
Traveling to Eichenwald.
Let's hope we don't get a spectator crash. Are we still living? I think we're living. That's perfect. So it's about do or die time here for St. Clair. They need to take this W to make sure they get themselves a shot at a game 3, because I'm sure they don't want to go 0-2 in TESPA this week. They're fighting hard, but it's just not been going in their favor so far. San Diego State finding the plays they need, finding the picks they need. And you can tell the Saints are trying to cook something up, because normally this would have been an easy, like, oh yeah, we're just going to King's Row, let's just do it, you know. Like same old, same old. But they're actually picking up Eichenwald, so we don't get to see this too often from St. Clair. So I'm definitely excited to see it. Because I haven't seen it, like, at all. I don't know what kind of special plays they have. I don't know if they have any sort of, like, there's no equivalent of Symmetra Bash Teleport. But I'm sure we'll see relatively soon.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Alright, let's start things off. Jub is back on the Pharah. Walla's on a Hanzo. And we have an Ana here. I think that's from Jussie, so. Yeah, Pharmacy trying to take over the skies once again. Let's see if I can get ourselves a point of view of that. As we see San Diego up in the high ground with the Bastion to try and defend this. So Jub needs to find himself the flank behind, and he's going to be able to do it, and he actually takes away the support. He's going to force the Bastion down the jump, and it's going to at least put them at a little bit of a scatter, enough of a scatter actually, that Walla could get the first pick onto White Lotus. So one big tank line gone, and that is a very long walk back to this fight. Jub trying his damnedest to try and shut this down. He does manage to get down the bash, or the invulnerability field, and slowly but surely, St. Clair is going to be able to turn this fight into their favor, and are likely going to take this first point pretty well uncontested. Very nice start here for St. Clair.
Your support has arrived.
Alright, so now it's time to push this thing, so.
You should be at
Jub Kingdom Heart keeping the same pairing so far. See if we can get an angle on that. Okay, so they do have a rough idea of what they're walking into. San Diego up high once again on top of the building. They do see Dylan trying to be a little bit cheeky up there on the roof. Get a crazy flank on somebody, but at least it's called out, so it won't be very surprising for any of the Saints on the ground. And now they actually all just dove. They didn't wait for Jub to try and get a kill. And here we go, the barrage coming out from Jub. He's going to at least get 3 kills before going down. So a solid trade so far for St. Clair. As the rest of them are fighting on the point, Crypt finding himself 2, taking down Streliza and Dylan. And Kingdom Heart going full battle mercy. Going to take down Tragic before anything else gets too crazy. And St. Clair are going to be able to take this fight and push this cart probably close to the bridge.
To me.
San Diego taking their time to try and get back out of this point. Some of them going high, some of them just going to try and hold the bridge, stop this card from progressing. And a Dragon Strike through the door is going to be the option here from Walla. Try and cut people off, and it's actually going to catch Strelizia, but Dylan does find Jub, who had switched over to a Widowmaker. But it does not matter. Crypt's going to be getting himself on the kill board, picking up 2. Damage right there, point blank with the Lucio, and just beats him down with a gun. That must have hurt. But it's going to get them the second point pretty quickly and pretty convincing right now, actually, for St. Clair. Looking fantastic so far on Eichenwald. So we just have Valkyrie and the Bongo right now for St. Clair in terms of ultimates. White Lotus a little bit out of position, but shields are there to protect him. He'll be just fine. And there goes the Bongo, and a nice shot there from Walla to take down one, and Jub finds another, and he's going to keep on going as the rest of San Diego are falling down. All the snipers are doing all the work right now for that fight, with everybody else just being solid coverage for them, it seems. Nice little breach, and that's going to be a very fast 3-pointer here on Eichenwald. Nicely done, St. Clair.
Score 3-0. Switching sides.
Night and day difference between these guys. It's looking good so far. Now we gotta see. Gotta see what they want to pull out for defense. I'd like to make a prediction, but I've never really seen Saints play on this map, so we're gonna be learning here today. Farah Hanzo with an Ana, Mercy, and so the standard tech line of Sigma Orisa.
Hello.
Might be what we're looking at here. Damage still sitting back. I'm wondering if there's going to be a change possibility. No, they're gonna roll out. So standard tank line alongside a sniper and Farah,
Attackers incoming.
and Jussie Kingdom Heart with Ana Mercy. Just a matter of figuring out where they set up. I know from the last round we did see San Diego go up on top of the building. However, it looks like we're going to set up in, like, this isn't meant to be the disc, but the solo queue spot where you're just kind of hovering around the arches with your shields. And sure enough, that Orisa almost got popped before this thing even went down. Ooh, woo, nearly getting taken out. They're going to opt to try and go for this tiny little corridor, and that's a huge halt actually there from the mage. Stacking on a lot of extra DPS. Jub's going to be the first casualty though. Jamari switching over to a McCree, actually coming in clutch to shut that down. Crypt point blank with everybody here, with Dylan and the Doomfist and everybody else. And Walla going to find Dylan finally. Crypt is trying to contest this, but they're actually just getting manhandled and pushed around to the point where they're going to almost capture this by not touching it. But the Mage and Crypt are going to be able to get onto this before anything too crazy does occur. As long as somebody is touching this, it won't go over into their favor. But Jussie is going to be the next casualty in this fight. Kingdom Heart extremely low, is going to get taken down. Dragon Strike goes absolutely nowhere. I swear that's been a pattern today, but it does happen every once in a while, I suppose. And this one's going to be turned over to San Diego State. They held it a little bit longer than San Diego State did, I think, but about the same in terms of results. Now let's hope that St. Clair has a better idea for this point anyway in terms of defense. As the point rolls through the next set of arches, let's see if Walla can find himself a good angle and a nice little call out onto Dylan as Dylan looks for the flank. And that gets shut down pretty well instantly. Riding back along with Crypt in the front line as we have the snipers doing work, getting themselves 2 kills, the Mage getting on the board, and Crypt chasing everybody away. going to be a solid defense so far. But again, a stupidly over-aggressive push is going to cost St. Clair again and again. And I swear we see this so often, to the point where you could probably hear it in my voice, a little bit of unfortunate frustration from St. Clair. They win the fight and they just push. I know you want to be aggressive to keep them kind of stuck in their spawn, but if you're going to do that, have everybody do that, you would think. But I mean, I'm definitely no master. There's a reason why I'm behind the commentary desk and not the player desk. But we're going to have the nano boost onto Damage as he's going to start just plowing through everybody. Doesn't even have to use the bongo. And we got the Flux actually coming out. He actually got booped from White Lotus, I think. Or White Lotus was the last to touch him as he goes down. Kingdom Heart going to try and keep at least the healers alive. Let Walla do as much work as he can for as long as he can. And we know Jussie is basically a DPS on support anyway. So that Ana's going to try and do as much work as possible. Just chasing down the tank, no fear. Completely dauntless chasing these guys right now. And Jub on top, trying to find a pick, and he does get one. Tragic is going to finally take down Jussie, though. Jub still back there. Let's see if we can hop along here with Damage as he does pop the bongo, giving everybody a huge damage boost. Tragic also seems to be a DPS on support as he does manage to take down another. Feel like I'm calling out his name a lot here today. And unfortunately, Damage is just going to get swarmed by the San Diego State squad. And this is going to go right to the second point. And we are down to 4 minutes and 15 seconds. So far, St. Clair's defense, it feels like it's got some holes, but it's still a bit stronger than what San Diego gave us in that last one. However, this fight has been absolutely atrocious right now for St. Clair as everybody got melted one by one. This is going to be pretty well a final fight at the point for St. Clair. We have a Dragon Strike available. These haven't been on the mark so far today, but this one's going to go at least across the point. But everybody was ahead of it, so it's not going to make its mark as needed. Jub making the switch over to Sombra does find Dylan at least, so the Doomfist is off the table. But meanwhile, the rest of St. Clair is not quite there just yet. Jussie going to do his damnedest to try and stall this thing, using Fade to just keep getting him back and forth. Tried to get the healing orb on it, but was not going to be there fast enough. This thing's being pushed. Mage there with the emergency Hammond alongside Walla's Reaper and Crypt on the Sigma. Let's see what they can do going for this point. Jub is still here with the Sombra if needed. That's going to be the Death Blossom coming out from Jamari. Going to clean up so far. There's a lot of dead Saints right now. And it's going to be no contest. We're going to be getting a 3-3 or going to some overtime rounds. St. Clair with the better time bank though. 4:23 compared to the 3 minutes. Yeah, 3 minutes and 2 seconds. So a nice competitive back and forth match. I do like what I'm seeing. I'm glad that TESPA Overwatch Sunday is giving you all a good show here at home. But I definitely want to see this go to a Game 3. I want to see St. Clair get themselves on the board and turn some of that negative momentum around and bring it back into their favor.
Think any of these taps still work? I'm feeling it almighty.
Hello.
Okay, so starting things off, St. Clair going to be on defense for the first set of overtime. We have Jub on the Hanzo instead of Walla on this round, so that's a bit of a difference, and that's because we have Walla on the Bastion. So they didn't bring it out during the first one, but now they're going to go for a Bastion comp here for the overtime. Let's see what they can do. They're going to set up in the exact same spot that San Diego did, just in the back line. Not worry so much about that initial archway. Instead, focus on just opening fire on them as they turn the corner here. And sure enough, as they walk around, there isn't exactly much cover from the Bastion. Let's see, throw a shield there. So they're going through the building, it looks like. to try and slowly but surely get to this point. Jub going to shut it down. Dylan going to be the first casualty in this fight.
You should be at peak performance levels.
They have since jumped down, and Walla giving himself like a siege pixel angle almost through that point. And this is being a little bit difficult. They're moving around so much that it's forcing Walla to just keep on going into recon mode, forcing the shields to never be on him. Thankfully, he was able to get Dylan before anything got too out of line. And Damage is going and the rest of the St. Clair squad are going to be able to trap the rest of San Diego in this point, to the point where Walla just jumps at him and point blanks them with a turret. That shield could only handle so much, and the rest of San Diego is going to go melt down here as we sit right along with Crypt as the rest of San Diego melts. Just a matter of dealing with Dylan, and there he goes. Jussie getting himself a triple kill in that one. So it looks like actually a clever play from San Diego to constantly just keep moving to the point where Walla couldn't sit still in front of a shield. Was a fine idea, but did not come to fruition here in this first attack for their overtime rounds. 1 minute, 20 seconds on the clock here for San Diego. The Mei wall got a bit of a switch here coming out for San Diego. Gonna be a little bit of a nuisance here for Walla up in the high ground as we hop back in with him. The Dragon Strike gonna cut him off here in that building. Might have been a little preemptive, but it is going to stall out the clock a little bit. Tag for him coming out right as they join in. A huge halt to stack them all up, but he gets frozen right as he gets the right angle. This Mei is just being an absolute nuisance, and sure enough, that is going to be Dylan making the switch off the Doomfist for I feel like the first time this game, and it's going to be super effective so far, as Walla barely surviving until he finally isn't. Jamari getting himself the double. Jub's still right there, though. He could possibly keep this going alongside Crypt, but Crypt is going to go down. Tragic, once again, getting on that kill board. But it looks like this is going to be finally the point going over to San Diego, but they're going to use basically their entire time clock to try and get it. So they cannot leave this point once now, as we're about to see them lose all their time with 10 seconds. Now or never right now for San Diego to try and push this thing as far as possible. Set the bar for St. Clair to beat. However, it's also do or die time now for St. Clair. They want to shut this down, make that game 3 so much easier to get. And with Damage getting a pick, that's a good start. But Dylan also making himself look like a sniper with that Mei. Taking down Jub. A Bongo in a pretty good position from Damage right around the corner. Death Blossom, but it's going to only get one. Walla going to trade out. Dylan does take down Jussie, though, but one more is being brought back to life. Crypt is going to get back into this fight, but it looks like a bit of a mess here for St. Clair. So much crowd control, it feels. This Mei is just not being stopped, it feels like. Just anybody who's there is just getting frozen, focused down, so there is still life here for San Diego to try and get themselves another point, but nicely done for Jub. We didn't quite see it on screen, but he does find himself the snipe. But of course, Tragic just being an absolute nuisance as always, and Jub Poison Mine is actually going to take that down. So at least the one healer, the one support line of San Diego goes down, but Jussie and Walla also get taken down by the Coalescence of Strelitzia. Jub, unfortunately, is going to get taken down by White Lotus, and now this is looking a little bit messy for St. Clair. They're going to pop the Flux, but if you don't get this now, it's going to be scary. Thankfully, they do take down Uwu Chris. The Blizzard's going to get everybody here, though. This is an absolute rough spot to be in. The supports are the only ones here for St. Clair to try and stall this, and that's not enough DPS to try and do it. Jussie's still hanging on for his dear life. Jub is now in the picture as well. But Tragic is going to take him down, and tragically for St. Clair, that is going to be another point going towards San Diego. A solid push for them, just not catching St. Clair where they want them, finding some picks before the fights start, and it's been looking so far so good. Now or never. I know I've said that a few times so far for St. Clair, and Jub switching over to a Junkrat is actually going to find Strelitzia pretty quickly into this battle. Walla is so low right now, but thankfully Jussie was right there to keep him alive. Dylan right there with the St. Clair squad trying to free somebody, but thankfully nobody getting caught up too badly. Death Blossom in the background. Where is it? We see Crypt almost going down, but it's going to be Jub Jub taking them down. Coalescence coming out from Jussie to try and just push these guys off the point. But the ice block from Dylan is going to keep things in there. That's a huge tire. Jub Jub coming in with a huge tire to finish off 3 of them. Crypt's going to get 2 more, and then St. Clair are going to be able to at least stop the 3-pointer.
Score 3-5. Switching sides.
Now that second point was a little messy for St. Clair, but they did manage to pull it together as we're going into their attack with 4 minutes and 23 seconds. A little bit more on the clock for them, but not a whole heck of a lot. Yet they have to push it further than what San Diego just did.
Orisa.
As excited as I am to see a Genji, I highly doubt that we're going to see Wallace stick to this. If we do, I am going to be pleasantly surprised.
30 seconds.
Your safety is my primary concern.
Greetings.
Yeah, we see a couple different characters, but I'm not sure if this is the point where you want to do something different.
5, 4,
But again,
3, 2.
I trust these guys, and sure enough, we're going to get about the same thing, so it's got to trust their opinion, but I am low-key kind of happy to see something that we've seen earlier today come out to play. Of course, Jub Jub back on the Pharah, going to try and split these guys up, and the Boop is going to actually put up someone out of the position, and White Lotus is going to be the first one to go down. Demage finishing off that one, while Jub Jub's got to be careful about the McCree. Dylan does get taken out by Jussie. Nicely done there from the back line of St. Clair. Crypt barely staying alive. That was a nice attempt at the sleep dart on Lucio, but he's a pretty mobile character. It's kind of hard to catch that guy. As you see, he's just point blank with everybody, especially with the snipers. But Jub Jub and Crypt are going to be able to team up with the rest of the squad, take care of the defenders. And even with Kingdom Heart Resing Walla, everybody is on board to keep this pressure going. And we try to see, Jub Jub's going to try and scout out to see where the rest of the San Diego squad are. And he does spot them up on the high ground, so he's going to be able to put some pressure on them before they get the chance to set up, especially if they had a Bastion or something, but they do not. It's going to be the Mei and McCree once again. So Jub Jub's still going to be under a little bit of pressure too if he's not careful with that McCree out in play. As we see a bit of an awkward angle for the rest of the St. Clair squad to try and push through, with them being up on the high ground. Okay, Coalescence coming out from this side of San Diego. It's going to be Strelizia starting things off, doing a little bit of poke damage, but we have a barrage available. If Jub Jub finds somebody, he can easily blow them up now. The rest of St. Clair pushing forward with the Dragon Strike. Actually, it goes right through Jamari. He's going to go down pretty quickly. White Lotus drops as well. Demage getting a kill. Dylan's going to just jump off unless he got booped by Jub Jub from the skies. And this is looking very strong right now for St. Clair, plowing through this second portion. I know they had a hard time defending it, but it appears that San Diego has a hard time too. Nice shots coming out right now for St. Clair, especially from Walla. He snipes off the Lucio. Tragic is down, and they're going to get this thing essentially right to the door. Demage is set up on the right-hand side, trying to cut off that entrance at least, or at least make it seem like he's going to try and cut off that entrance. And they're going to blitz the left side with a Blizzard. They're coming in hot, but a barrage from Jub Jub blowing up Jamari pretty well instantly as he is nano-boosted as well. Looking good so far for St. Clair. Jub Jub finds himself another. Tragic gets slapped from the top. Nice shot there from Jussie, comboing up with the Flux. And that is going to be a dead Mei as soon as she's out of there. There we go. St. Clair firing on all cylinders for this one. Just a matter of trapping Dylan. They're finally going to do it. Walla going to trap him down. And there we go. 2 points on the board with a minute 20 left on the clock. This is still completely doable for San Diego. That isn't necessarily a ton of time, but they also don't have to push it that far, especially if St. Clair is going to have an aggressive hold position, similar to what Crypt is trying to set up right now. As long as everybody is on board, we have a barrage, we have a Dragon Strike. This is looking so far so good. He's going to let it launch. It's going to go right down the center, and it doesn't look like it finds anybody. In fact, it's going to be White Lotus who's going to be the first one to find the kill. Dylan and Walla, or Dylan goes down. Tragic getting a kill as well. Saints are down with 40 seconds left. Pretty well now or never right now for St. Clair. This single push of only a couple meters is going to be critical. If they get it strong, they're in good shape. Jub Jub was actually behind enemy lines this entire time. He did not get picked out in that fight, and I don't think they know he's there. If he can get the flank, as the flux comes out from the side of from San Diego, they can do it quick. And sure enough, there's Jub Jub from the high ground up on the far angle. He does manage to take down 2. White Lotus almost going down from Jussie, but it's not going to be enough. It actually looks like San Diego is going to be able to pull this hold off. This res might be their only chance here as Kingdom Heart is alive here with Damage in the front line. And who is that with him? We got Crypt and Walla. The cavalry has arrived, so to speak, but so has the sound barrier, going to make this extremely difficult to try and plow through. Walla's going to try his best, but to try and get some accurate shots in such a cluster of an engagement is going to be brutal. If he can happen to get a Dragon Strike, this would be huge, but he's not going to be able to. Never mind, he does find it. He's going to fire it for glory, but it's not going to do it. San Diego, by the skin of their gums, going to be able to hold this one off. A very, very competitive, very excellent game from both sides. Now, of course, this one, Junkrat, the play of the game stealer, as always. He does find himself a nice triple in this engagement, going behind the shields and blowing everybody up alongside Crypt. But very good game. Congratulations to San Diego getting the victory here tonight. Ooh. Now, give these guys credit, even though we lost both our matches today, I will give credit that all the games so far today have been extremely competitive and extremely awesome. They put on a show for you guys here this Sunday evening, and I hope you guys all did enjoy the broadcast. But unfortunately, is not going to be in the favor of St. Clair today. That being said, we still have some more TESPA Overwatch. We're getting towards the end of the preseason, but I think we still have another week or two of games. So be sure to follow the channel if you have not done so already to be able to catch that next Sunday night starting at 8 p.m. If you want to follow any of my antics, that's Danners SG on Twitter. This has been Dan Banner working the desk here today. Hope you enjoyed. And be sure to follow Saints Gaming, of course, Saints Gaming CA, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We got it all. So, especially when looking for match schedules, that'll be the place to be. So once again, that's the end of our coverage here for TESPA Overwatch. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully, for some Smash class. Have a good night, everyone.